In this video, we're talking about this left-handed 1973 SG Standard. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, my name's Merrow. Here on this channel, you're gonna find gear demos like this one and instructional videos aimed to help musicians just like you and I. So if that sounds cool, please subscribe to the channel, check out all the other videos, and I would love to know what you think of this guitar in the comments below. So on that note, let's go ahead and get into what this guitar is. Let's do a little backstory on this guitar and how I got it, what it is. It's a 1973 SG Standard from Gibson, and it's a factory left-handed guitar, which means there's no conversion that happened to make this left-handed, which is pretty rare. And it is by far the oldest guitar that I own, but it's really cool, and I want to go over how I got this guitar. So it starts with my buddy Al, who co-hosts a podcast called The Cultured Guitarist. He lives up in Canada, and he's also an SG fanatic like I am. We really bonded over that fact. We both love SGs because they're just, I mean, just look at it. It's so cool. He frequents the local Facebook marketplace, and he sent me this guitar, and I think at this point it had to be like a year ago. So he sent me this guitar, and he's like, dude, this is a 70s SG. You need to message this person. And so I messaged that person. I was like, hey, I want this guitar. And then someone bought it. It was gone. And I was kind of bummed, but at the same time, like, okay, it's not meant to be. Anyway, fast forward like a few months later, maybe 3 months later, Al sends me another listing for a 70s SG. I was thinking like, this is the same one. So I messaged that person, asked them where they were selling it, and that what happened was this guitar was somewhere in its life, it was flipped over to play right-handed. So, you know, the bottom string was down, the low E was down here, high E was up here, like a normal right-handed guitar. But what happens when that happens, the result is a very uncomfortable playing position for right-handed people. So this person was getting rid of it. Al, the sweetheart that he is, drove like 9 hours total to get this guitar because it's up in Canada, and he shipped it to me. He packed it in a nice case, and now I have it. That's the story of how I got the guitar, but let's go ahead, hear some sounds real quick before, let's go over the signal chain. We're going from the SG into the Skybridge from Elm Effects, which is my pedal company. It's a dual drive and boost pedal, so on the left here, we have a drive, like a kind of like a rat style distortion. On the right, we have a boost that comes before the drive. You can turn them on and off independently. Next, we have the Black Math from Mask Audio Electronics. This is kind of like a big muff with a boost in front of the big muff. Then we're going into the L Reverb from Big Ear Pedals, and this one was custom painted by Karen over there. She painted a picture of my puppy dog Rory. From there, we're going to an amp in the room so I can hear it, but what you're hearing is this Laney AOR 50 set pretty clean. So here's the clean sound. So let's go ahead and get into the specs of this guitar. Again, this is the SG body shape. This is a 70s SG. We have a pretty thin body right here. So we have a volute on the back of the neck right here, and that was to decrease the likelihood of neck breakage, but as Gibsons do, this has a neck break in it. The fretboard is ebony, and fun fact, it is dotted on the bottom and on the top. I think that was just ease of production for Gibson. Anyway, we got block inlays on the neck, which is really cool. This one has Grover tuners. I don't know if that was stock or not. Then we have the harmonica bridge down here. I actually had to get a new bridge for this guitar because the other one had been just so marred up. It actually couldn't physically pull up out of the body because the screws had been like hammered or something. I'm not exactly sure. Also, it was flipped around to be righty and it was a worn out bridge. So I just got a replacement. My friend Nate over at Stallman Guitars did all the work on this and he did a great job. It's playing amazingly now. In the neck pickup position, we have the stock, what is referred to as the tar back, because on the back of the pickup is like black epoxy. I'm not exactly sure like if it's a lower whine pickup or not, but it sounds really good. Let's go ahead and hear that real quick. So that's the stock neck pickup from the 70s, the Gibson tarback pickup. In the bridge, when the guitar came to me, it had a not stock pickup. I didn't know what it was for the longest time. I still don't really know what it is. It was a DiMarzio something. It wasn't a super distortion because it didn't have the hex pull pieces, but it was some sort of DiMarzio pickup in this bridge position. What I actually did was I changed it out to this Widdershins pickup cantrip, which is kind of like a PAF style pickup, and they actually sent this over to me. They were gracious enough to send it to me just to check out. I put it in this guitar and it sounds really good. Let's go ahead and hear like all the pickup positions. So here is just the bridge pickup. Here is the neck pickup. And here's both pickups. So they balance really nicely. They sound really great. I really like the neck pickup. I might keep my eyes out for a stock 70s tarback bridge, but it's not something that I need. I just really like the sound of that. I also really like the sound of this cantrip as well. So those are the pickups. At some point, someone had maybe like a T60 pickup in it, because on the pickup rings here, both of them, there are 2 extra holes drilled, and I know that those T60 pickups have 2 screws on one side and then 1 screw on the other, so at some point I think someone might have put those in this guitar. So So moving on from the pickups, we have the electronics. Now, this wiring harness right here is not stock. I actually took the stock one out. I saved it, but I'm not using it because I want this guitar to be like super reliable, super functional. So what happened is I replaced this with a Gun Street wiring harness, and it is the modern harness. So I've got Gun Street wiring shop harness in here, Widdershins bridge pickup, stock neck pickup, 3-way toggle. Everything's working great now. The guitar came with different knobs on it, and the knobs were stripped out because they were being held on by duct tape, the old duct tape trick where you put duct tape around the shaft of the pot so the knob sticks on. From all my research, I found that the 70s guitars had these speed knobs on them, so I ordered a set of those, so now it has speed knobs on it. So one cool thing about vintage guitars is all the wear on the finish and the checking, and this guitar is littered with finish checking. Like, let me turn it around here. All these little lines that you see are cracks in the finish, and it's really cool looking. It's something that a lot of like boutique guitar builders do to their guitars that they make now, is actually age the finish, and that, you know, that includes manually checking the nitro finishes in those guitars. So that's really cool. This guitar arrived to me in like way dirty condition. So I got some naphtha, I cleaned up the body, the fretboard, the headstock, I cleaned everything up. Then I took it to my friend Nate over at Stallman Guitars to do a full setup, replace the bridge. I had him fix the tar back pickup because the mounting pole underneath that the pickup sits on kind of came unattached. And I had him put a new nut on the guitar because the original one, the slots had been widened out to be, you know, a right-handed guitar. So it was the original nut, but it wasn't working very well. So he put a new nut on it. I think that's about it. Just gave it a setup. Didn't have to do anything to the frets. The frets on this guitar are the low 70s frets, and it definitely makes the guitar feel a bit different than my like 2001 SG. So overall, I love this guitar. It's really cool. It does have a few quirks about it, of course. The dots on both sides. My biggest gripe about this guitar is that the neck is really small, and not so much like from front to back, but more from side to side. It's like really narrow, and like once I start getting used to playing this guitar and then I go over to any of my other guitars, it's kind of like going from like a 2-lane highway to like a 4-lane interstate, is kind of how I describe it. So it makes me play a little bit differently and kind of like tailor my playing to the guitar, but it is really cool. I really love it. I want to say thank you again to Al for helping me get this guitar into my life. And, you know, you'll see this more on the channel. I would love to know what you think about this guitar in the comments below. Do you like SGs? What kind of music do you play? And what kind of amps do you play them through as well? So let me know that in the comments below. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Again, if you want to interact with me a little bit more, you can always find me over on Instagram. My handle is @EricMerrow over there. And before I get out of here, I want to send a huge thank you to these folks right over here, my supporters and executive producers from my Patreon page. You all mean the world to me. I thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. If you'd like to learn how to support the channel, I'll leave a link in the description below. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I will talk to you in the next video.